How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Spooky from SpookyPoker.com, and today we are going to be reviewing some subscriber hands. This is just from one gentleman. His name is Jay. So Jay, thank you for submitting these hands. I know it's been a little while since you sent them, but I've been busy with other things. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for commenting on my videos and everything. I truly appreciate everyone who does that. So I have to shill for a second. If you don't know what shilling is, I have to advertise for a second. So just bear with me. I'll just leave a timestamp for when I get into the actual hands real quick. So basically, if you guys are interested in playing on a new site or you're trying to get back into poker, I would request that you use my link, my referral link to America's Card Room. It's where I play. It's where I've made thousands of dollars playing online poker, and they've got really great bonuses. They'll match anything up to $2,000 on your first deposit. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you're interested in playing on a new place, that's my recommendation. Also, if you don't have PokerTracker, I recommend you grab PokerTracker because it will increase your win rate for sure, even if you suck at using it. So those are my two little advertisements there. You can see the links below. Thank you for bearing with me through that. So let's get into it. We're going to be reviewing these hands from Jay. Alright, so we are presumably a pair of pups because this is the default place that we end up. And we are in late position. So what are the blinds? The blinds are 450, so we have about 28 big blinds, if my math is correct. So we've got a raise for about 2x. We have no information on Tailsma, so we'll see what Jay does here. Call and a call. Okay, I already don't like this play because the problem with calling with something like Ace Jack is that tails could easily have something like Ace King, and if we flop an ace high board, we aren't even happy about it. We're in a bad spot. We're not deep. If we were, say, 200 big blinds deep, I wouldn't mind a call with Ace Jack offsuit, but I would want to see either a 3-bet or a fold here. With our stack, it just doesn't make any sense for us to be calling. Even if we get a jack high board, we're still competing with at least 2 other people. We're inviting 3-bets from these guys. And there are just several reasons why I would not be calling here. So those are just some of them. So we'll continue. And it gets folded around. So comes Ace Queen 8. I don't know why the quality is so bad, guys. Sorry about that. But tails checks. This person whose name I can't see checks, I think. And it's up to us. And we bet 1350 into 4100, so maybe roughly a third of pot. So let's see what happens. Tails calls. So when Tails calls, I'm putting him on a fairly narrow range. So for example, I think his range consists of pocket aces, pocket queens, pocket eights, ace queen, and something like pocket kings. That's kind of like my general range I'm putting him on right now. And since he folded, we I mean, if we want to like try to get really advanced, we can think like, oh, he probably folded like two like middling cards like 6-7 offsuit or 6-7 suited or something, but that's not important. What's important is Tails' range and our range. So we're going to the turn, and it comes a deuce and another check. So I'm trying to think what I would do here. I don't mind another small bet. The problem with not having information on tails is we just don't know what kind of player they are. If this is the kind of person who wants to check raise a lot, if this is a trappy kind of player, an aggressive player, I'm going to check back this turn because I don't want to get check raised. I'm trying to get to showdown with my strong hand. But if they are a sticky player, I'm probably just going to value bet them to death with like another quarter pot bet, third pot bet. So there's another small bet. I don't mind that. And then a king on the river. So Tails also has something like King Queen in their range. It would be a bad play on Tails' part to get to the river with King Queen, but you also gave him a pretty good price, so maybe not the worst thing in the world. But with the King coming on the river, I'm giving him a lot of credit because there are a lot of, like, what bluffs do we beat at this point? All we beat is King 10 and King Jack, and we have a blocker for King Jack. So to me, this is a fold, and but you know, yeah, based on the little information I know about Tails, this is a fold, but I think we're probably going to call and see what happens. Yeah, so he did have King Queen, which is one of the hands I mentioned. He played it pretty bad, and we just got drawn out on, but I'm folding this river almost 100% of the time, unless I have a good reason not to. And like I said, anything that he was calling with, he got there with the King, and I would just... Calling here is just very bad for our range. I would either jam, which doesn't do a lot because he's probably not going to fold, or realistically I would have just folded. So that's the first hand. Let's move on to the second one. Where are we? Does he have a different account, or am I just not seeing our account show up? Okay, I guess we're John Spartan now. We're no longer whatever that other name was. Okay, so what I'm seeing in your play already is that you call too much, and you definitely don't want to be calling ace-king suited out of position for a lot of reasons. One of them is that your hand is better than, like, I don't know the percentage of hands, but ace-king suited is better than almost every single hand in poker. If it's not, it's like either flipping or better than almost every single hand. And for that reason, just for pure value, we can be raising ace-king suited, and it's profitable. Another reason is that you just don't want to be playing these large pots out of position, because you just end up in these tougher spots. And ace-king, I mean, it usually is pretty straightforward to play, but you know, if you just completely miss, you can just check fold. But you're just giving up a lot of equity by letting weaker hands see flops for free in position. I would be charging these guys. I would make it probably 1,200 because there's a lot in the pot already. Make it about, you know, oh wait, no, you'd have to take away your 200. So let's see. I would just make it like 5x his bet. So whatever that comes out to be. So maybe 1K, 1.25K, whatever that comes out to be, I don't know. So then, anyway, I really don't like the play of calling a hand as strong as ace-king suited in the small blind. He folds and he calls. So we flop ace-jack deuce. There's no reason to lead out. We would just check here. That's good. And he bets 3/4 pot. Yeah, you know, the problem is that his range is completely undefined. He could have pocket jacks. He probably doesn't. He probably doesn't have pocket jacks. Probably doesn't have pocket aces or pocket deuces because he's betting 3/4 pot. But the problem is that he could have a draw. So, you know, to be honest with you, I'm probably check raising this and willing to get it in, especially because he bet so large. I guess if he just has us beat, then I just get stacked here. But no one's betting 3/4 pot here with a set, and we beat all non-sets and 2 pairs. And I don't think 2 pair is betting like this either. The only possible hand is like ace deuce. So I would love a check raise here. I would make it bigger. I'd make it a lot bigger because... okay, let me think about what I'm saying here. I just feel like... So you made it about 3x. I think it's okay, generally speaking, if you're doing it for value, but I personally don't really want to call. Unless... I don't know. You know, I'm just kind of playing this hand on the fly, so I guess I'd have to... I would never play the hand like this, so I'm to be honest with you guys, I'm not 100% sure how I would play it. So let's just move on. Let's just say, you know, this sizing is fine. He's probably going to call, so he jams. I would just call. You know, we've got so much equity. He has a lot of draws that we're beating, and we're beating all non two pair and set hands. So I think we have to call. And he just played ace jack kind of poorly. Like, for him to bet 3/4 pot is just ambitious, but you know, this is why we always want to have information on our opponents. You know, this person's probably fairly aggressive if they're going to be betting 3/4 pot with top two, and so it's for that reason that I always color code people. You know, you can see my video on color coding people, but you know, this might just be a cooler, but we could have avoided the cooler by 3-betting him really huge before the flop, and don't let him get in there with, I can't tell if it's suited or offsuit. I can't tell if that's a jack of clubs, but I don't think he's calling a massive 3-bet with ace jack offsuit, or maybe not even ace jack suited, so I would have loved to see a 3-bet pre-flop. And we suck out, which that's how it goes sometimes. But we did get it in bad, and the reason we got it in bad is because we had no idea what his range was, and we had no information on him. So what I want you guys to be doing is always keeping notes, even if they're small notes. Even if someone seems aggressive, you can just write, you know, I would say something like, I don't know why it's not letting me see this, but I would write something like, seems aggressive. That's what I would type. Because then you have at least some indication, and then if they act aggressive again, then you at least have an idea of who they might, what kind of player they are. Okay, so I'm just going to do this last hand because I don't want this video to be really long. So we're back to being pair of cups. Okay, we have ace deuce suited in the big blind. I think this is a very clear fold, unless we have a reason to think that hands cold is shoving like light. He would have to be shoving with something worse than ace deuce suited very often. So you think, not shove, I shouldn't have said shoving, my bad, but 3-betting. But, you know, obviously he's 3-betting with the intention to put his stack in. So we have to say, are we comfortable getting it in for that much against his range? So you have to ask yourself, is he ever doing this with worse than ace deuce suited? So something like king queen suited, we lose to all aces. Yeah, so is he doing with jack 10? Probably not. So to me, this is a clear fold. That's all I really have to say so far, but obviously that's I assume that isn't, yeah. So we make the call, which I think is very, you know, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but it's just like the worst play, because what you're doing is inviting please one time to shove with something like pocket 7s or pocket 8s. You're just giving him a lot of like dead money in the pot that's incentivizing him to shove, and it also just makes you look weak, but that could also be a sign of strength if you had something like aces. Sometimes people will call here. But generally speaking, given our actual, like if we did have aces, I wouldn't mind if you called, because it gives him the chance to do something stupid. But we're kind of just free rolling ourselves, and we might even, you know, we're just giving him more reason to shove with a hand that could definitely be way ahead. So he calls, which is, you know, that's how it goes. Okay, well obviously this is a dream flop for us, and we're never folding. So let's see. We check, and he goes all in. It's a no-brainer call. Of course we're gonna call, given our exact hand. And then hands cold still had some behind. I keep forgetting that he wasn't all in, but he had some money behind. I'm trying to think if there's any point in raising. I mean, I probably would. Actually, no. I guess calling might be slightly better, because if a turn comes that we if like a jack or something comes, we can just shove and maybe he'll fold ace king. But it's such a small difference, it doesn't really matter. So 4 of spades, we have to call this, of course. I'm guessing up. Okay, so we're dominated by ace 3, which let's see, 4-4, ace 9-5. So right now it's not playing and we're free rolling and losing the 6s, and then we get there. So we ended up winning because we make the nut flush. But that, you know, being results oriented, obviously we want to win, but our decision making getting to the win was not very good. Specifically just post or pre-flop. You have to think about all these things pre-flop. So what is there to say? I guess the only thing to say is you shouldn't be you certainly shouldn't be flatting. I think you flatted a 3-bet out of position with ace deuce suited. Is that so he 3-bet, yeah, and we flatted a 3-bet out of position with ace deuce suited, which is a very negative EV play. So even though we won and we're happy we won, this is just not the spot. It's kind of similar to what I said earlier. You know, if we're 200 big blinds deep, we can start playing pretty loose, but we are not. And these guys are going to be pot committed very easily. So when people are going to be pot committed easily, you have to really think about what are you willing to go all in against their range. And as I told you, we were absolutely dominated by ace 3. Now it didn't end up mattering, but if with some specific runouts we just lose because we're dominated. So ace 2 suited, I would like a 4-bet if you really feel like you need to do that, but more so a fold. You shouldn't really be 4-betting ace 2 suited against someone who's already pot committed. So let's bring it on back. So we're back. So that was the video. Hopefully you guys learned some stuff. Once again, thank you for submitting the clip, Jay. I hope it's obvious that I have no, I'm not trying to be mean or anything in my analysis. I'm just giving you objective feedback. But once again, I do appreciate you submitting the clip. Now, I guess the last thing I'll say is I've got a lot of other helpful poker videos on this channel. I recommend you guys watch. And the last thing I'll say is if you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Please drop me a like and a comment. That would mean a lot. And if you want a free, some free resources I have right now, I've got a Crush the Micros checklist, totally free. I would recommend you check that out. It's got some tips on there that I have never spoken about on my channel, so I recommend you check that out. And I guess that's gonna do it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.